ولو أن قرآنا سيرت به الجبال أو قطعت به الأرض أو كلم به الموتى بل لله الأمر جميعا أفلم ييأس الذين آمنوا أن لو يشاء الله لهدى الناس جميعا ولا يزال الذين كفروا تصيبهم بما صنعوا قارعة أو تحل قريبا من دارهم حتى يأتي وعد الله إن الله لا يخلف الميعاد.
And what would have happened were a Quran to be revealed wherewith mountains could be set in motion, or the earth cleft, or the dead made to speak? To show such signs is not at all difficult, for everything rests entirely with Allah. So do not the people of faith still look forward to such a sign in response to the demand of the unbelievers, and despair as a result of knowing that had Allah so willed, He could have guided all to the truth. Misfortune continues to afflict the unbelievers on account of their misdeeds, or to befall on locations close to their habitation. This will continue until Allah's promise of chastisement is fulfilled. Indeed, Allah does not go back upon His promise.
47. This verse has been addressed to the believers who were feeling uneasy that no such sign was being sent as was demanded by the disbelievers. They thought that such a sign would convince the disbelievers and they would accept Islam. Therefore, when no such sign was sent, they became all the more uneasy for the lack of the fulfillment of the demand that gave rise to doubts about the prophethood of the messenger, peace be upon him. The question posed in this verse is meant to remove that uneasiness of the Muslims. It is like this: do you think that they would have embraced Islam if such and such signs had been shown to them all of a sudden along with a surah of the Quran? Are you under the delusion that they are quite ready to accept Islam and are waiting only for such a sign? Do you think that those people who have failed to see the light of the truth in the teachings of the Quran, in the phenomena of the universe, in the pure and spotless life of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and in the wonderful change in the lives of his companions, would see the light of the truth in the moving of the mountains, in the cleavage of the earth and in the coming out of the dead from the graves? 48. But to Allah belongs the command entirely, and He can show any sign if He so desires. He is not showing any sign, for it does not fit in the scheme laid down for the guidance of man. As the real object is to show guidance to mankind through the Prophet and not to compel them to believe in the prophethood of a prophet, He desires that the people should gain guidance by thinking and observing wisely and not by seeing signs. 49. That is, if the object had been to make human beings believers even without consciously understanding it, Allah could have created them believers by birth. 50.
وَلَقَدِ اسْتُهْزِئَ بِرُسُلٍ مِّن قَبْلِكَ فَأَمْلَيْتُ لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا ثُمَّ أَخَذْتُهُمْ فَكَيْفَ كَانَ عِقَابِ.
Surely, the messengers before you were ridiculed, but I always initially granted respite to those who disbelieved, and then I seized them with chastisement. Then, how awesome was my chastisement!
أَفَمَنْ هُوَ قَائِمٌ عَلَى كُلِّ نَفْسٍ بِمَا كَسَبَتْ وَجَعَلُوا لِلَّهِ شُرَكَاءَ قُلْ سَمُّوهُمْ أَمْ تُنَبِّئُونَهُ بِمَا لَا يَعْلَمُ فِي الْأَرْضِ أَمْ بِظَاهِرٍ مِّنَ الْقَوْلِ بَلْ زُيِّنَ لِلَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مَكْرُهُمْ وَصُدُّوا عَنِ السَّبِيلِ ومن يضلل الله فما له من هاد.
Is it, then, in regard to him who watches over the deeds of every person, that they are acting blasphemously by setting up his associates? Tell them, name those associates if Allah himself has made them his associates. Or are you informing Allah of something the existence of which he does not even know? Or do people arbitrarily utter empty words? Indeed, their foul contriving has been made to seem fair to the unbelievers, and they have been barred from finding the right way. Whomsoever Allah lets go astray will have none to guide him. Their foul contriving has been made to seem fair to the unbelievers.
50. That is, they are so audacious that they set up partners with Allah, whose knowledge is all-comprehensive and who is aware of even the minutest details of the good and bad actions of each individual. 51. These are the audacious things they do. They ascribe partners and equals to him. They believe that some of his creatures are a part and parcel of his being, and have attributes and rights like him. They presume that they shall not be called to account for whatever they do, even though they live in his kingdom. 52. That is, you give empty names to the partners you ascribe to him, for you have no real knowledge about them. For you could get this knowledge only in one of the three following ways. First, you might have received some authentic information that Allah had made such and such people as his partners in his attributes, powers and rights. If it is so, let us also know their names and the source of your information. Second, the possibility that Allah might have remained ignorant that some beings have become his partners. Therefore you are going to inform him about this. If it is so, say it clearly in so many words so that it may be decided whether there are some foolish people who can believe in such a nonsensical claim. Third, obviously the above two suppositions are absurd. Therefore the only alternative is that you are ascribing partners to him without any rhyme or reason, and you, without any knowledge, make one the relative of God, another the hearer of supplications, and still another the helper and fulfiller of certain needs and the ruler of a certain region, etc. 53. Shirk has been called fraud because none of the angels, spirits, saints, heavenly bodies, to whom they ascribe divine attributes and powers or render divine rights, ever claimed to possess these attributes or powers. Neither did they ever demand these rights from the people, nor told the people that they would fulfill their desires and wants if they would perform some rituals of worship before them. As a matter of fact, some clever people invented these gods in order to practice willful deception and dishonesty so that they might wield powerful influence over the common people and exploit them and deprive them of a part of their hard-earned possessions. Accordingly, they made the common people credulous followers of the gods of their inventions and set themselves up as their representatives to get money, etc. from them by this fraud. The second reason why shirk has been called fraud is that a worldly man pretends to believe in it not because he wants to believe in it but in order to free himself from all moral restraints to enable him to lead an irresponsible life of greed and lust. The third reason is given below in E.N. 54. 50.
لهم عذاب في الحياة الدنيا ولعذاب الآخرة أشق وما لهم من الله من واق.
They shall suffer chastisement in the life of the world, and surely the chastisement of the hereafter is even more grievous. None has the power to shield them from the chastisement of Allah.
مثل الجنة التي وعد المتقون تجري من تحتها الأنهار أكلها دائم وظلها تلك عقبى الذين اتقوا وعقبى الكافرين النار.
And such will be the paradise promised to the God-fearing. Rivers will flow beneath it, its fruits will be eternal, and so will be its blissful shade. That is the ultimate destiny of the God-fearing, while fire is the destiny of the unbelievers.
والذين آتيناهم الكتاب يفرحون بما أنزل إليك ومن الأحزاب من ينكر بعضه قل إنما أمرت أن أعبد الله ولا أشرك به إليه أدعو وإليه مآب.
Those upon whom we bestowed the scriptures earlier rejoice at the book revealed to you, while there are also some among different groups that reject part of it. Tell them, I have only been commanded to serve Allah and not to associate anyone with Him. To Him do I call, and to Him is my return.
55. This is in reply to a specific objection which was then raised by the disbelievers. They would say, if he has brought the same message that was brought by the messengers before him, as he claims, why don't the Jews and the Christians who are the followers of the former prophets come forward and welcome it? The verse answers the objection and says that the true followers of the former prophets really rejoice in the message of the Quran, but the false ones have been offended by it. Then it asks the Prophet, peace be upon him, not to worry at all about this, saying, O Prophet, you should not mind at all whether they are pleased or offended by it. Tell them plainly that this is the guidance I have received from my Lord and I will follow it at all costs.
وكذلك أنزلناه حكما عربيا ولئن اتبعت أهواءهم بعدما جاءك من العلم ما لك من الله من ولي ولا واق.
And it is with the same directive that we reveal to you this Arabic writ. Were you indeed to follow the vain desires of people after the true knowledge has come to you, none will be your supporter against Allah, and none will have the power to shield you from His punishment.
وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا رُسُلًا مِّن قبلك وجعلنا لهم أزواجا وذرية وما كان لرسول أن يأتي بآية إلا بإذن الله لكل أجل كتاب.
We indeed sent many messengers before you, and we gave them wives and children. And no messenger had the power to produce a miraculous sign except by the command of Allah. Every age has its own revealed book.
56. This is the answer to another objection. The disbelievers said that he could not be a prophet of Allah because he has wives and children, for they argued that prophets had nothing to do with carnal desires. 57. This is the answer to yet another objection. Had he been a true prophet, he would have shown a sign like the shining hand and the miraculous staff of Prophet Moses, or he would have restored sight to the blind or cured lepers like Prophet Jesus, or brought a sign like the she-camel of Prophet Saleh. Peace be upon them all. The answer is this. None of the former messengers had any power to show any sign, nor has this prophet, peace be upon him. Allah showed a sign whenever and through whomsoever He considered it to be necessary, and will show any sign whenever He will consider it necessary, and that I have not claimed to possess any such power that such a demand might be made from me.
يَمْحُو اللَّهُ مَا يَشَاءُ وَيُثْبِتُ وَعِندَهُ أُمُّ الْكِتَابِ.
Allah effaces whatever He wills and retains whatever He wills. With Him is the mother of the book.
58. This is the answer to another objection raised against the revelation of the Quran. The disbelievers said, what was the need of this new book, when there already had existed the former revealed books? You say that this need has arisen because the former books have been tampered with, therefore Allah has abrogated them and commanded that this new book should be followed. This position you have taken is wrong, for how can anyone tamper with the book of Allah, and how is it possible that any book of Allah might be tampered with? Why did not Allah protect these books from such things as these? You say that this book has been revealed by the same Allah who revealed the Torah and the Gospel. How is it then that your way is different from that of the Torah? You consider certain things lawful while they are unlawful according to the Torah, etc. etc. Detailed answers to these objections have been given in other surahs, but here only a brief and comprehensive answer has been given to them. The Arabic word ul-Kitab literally means the mother book, that is, the original book which is the source and origin of all the revealed books.
وَإِمَّا نُرِيَنَّكَ بَعْضَ الَّذِي نَعِدُهُمْ أَوْ نَتَوَفَّيَنَّكَ فَإِنَّمَا عَلَيْكَ الْبَلَاغُ وَعَلَيْنَا الْحِسَابُ.
O Prophet, whether we make you see a part of the punishment that we have threatened them with come to pass during your lifetime, or we take you away before that happens, your duty is no more than to convey the message, and it is for us to make a reckoning.
59. This is to console the Prophet, peace be upon him, as if to say, O Prophet, you need not concern yourself as to the end of these disbelievers who have rejected the truth. You should go on performing with peace of mind the mission that has been entrusted to you, and leave it to us to give them suitable punishment. Though this has been addressed to the Prophet, peace be upon him, it is obvious that it is really meant to warn the opponents of the truth, who were demanding definitely from the Prophet, peace be upon him, by way of a challenge to bring about the scourge about which threats were being held out to them.
أَوَلَمْ يَرَوْا أَنَّا نَأْتِي الْأَرْضَ نَنقُصُهَا مِنْ أَطْرَافِهَا وَاللَّهُ يَحْكُمُ لَا مُعَقِّبَ لِحُكْمِهِ وَهُوَ سَرِيعُ الْحِسَابِ.
Do they not see that we are advancing in the land, diminishing it by its borders on all sides? Allah judges, and no one has the power to reverse his judgment. He is swift in reckoning.
60. We are advancing in the land. This is a very subtle way of warning the opponents of the truth. The fact that our message is spreading fast in Arabia. It does, in fact, mean that we ourselves are advancing very fast in the country against you, for we are with those who are carrying our message, diminishing it from its outlying borders. We are causing the influence of Islam to spread fast in the land, and are thus reducing the boundaries of the influence of its opponents. Are not these things the portents of their coming disaster?
وَقَدْ مَكَرَ الَّذِينَ مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ فَلِلَّهِ الْمَكْرُ جَمِيعًا يَعْلَمُ مَا تَكْسِبُ كُلُّ نَفْسٍ وَسَيَعْلَمُ الْكُفَّارُ لِمَنْ عُقْبَى الدَّارِ.
Those who lived before them also devised many a plot, but the master plot rests with Allah. He knows what everyone does. The deniers of the truth will soon come to know whose end is good.
61. That is, these people, who are now devising schemes to defeat the message of the truth, do not take a lesson from the sad end of the people who devised similar schemes before them to suppress the voice of the truth by falsehood, fraud and persecution.
وَيَقُولُ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا لَسْتَ مُرْسَلًا قُلْ كَفَى بِاللَّهِ شَهِيدًا بَيْنِي وَبَيْنَكُمْ وَمَنْ عِندَهُ عِلْمُ الْكِتَابِ.
The unbelievers claim that you have not been sent by Allah. Tell them, Allah is sufficient as a witness between me and you, and so also do those who know the scriptures.
62. That is, everyone who has the knowledge of the divinely revealed books will bear witness to the fact that my teachings are the same that were imparted by the former prophets.